goodness. I have so many thank yous as well. I have heard that you already know the members of my team that are here, and I trust that those of you who had a member or minister at your table have lots of opportunity to lobby them. I have ministers who are in a hurry to get things done, so I hope you're able to put a few more things on their task list. But I should just give a special thank you to Rick Orman and Mike Thoreau and the incredible ticket sales committee. They're the reason you're all here this evening, the reason our bank account is flush. And thank them for twisting your arms to get you here this evening. Thanks so much to both of you. And I also want to give a special thank you to our new board as well. I should say that these dinners began again last year under the leadership of our former president, Cynthia Moore, who is here this evening. And they've continued under Rob Smith, our current president. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here this evening, but we do have some board members who are here if they want to stand so I could recognize them. Ken Engler, our CFO, Raymond Strom, our VP of Policy and Governance, Peter Weichler, who is our Regional Director in Calgary. We've got Sonia Agisamu, who is our VP of Fundraising, and Irma Roberts, who is our VP for Calgary. And also, Ranjit Bath came down from Edmonton because he knows that he's got to put this on in a couple of weeks' time, and there's still a couple of hundred tickets short of meeting our 1350 target here, so he wanted to see what the competition looks like. But give them a round of applause for doing the work of representing you. Well, I must say thank you so much to you, my Conservative family, for being here tonight and to celebrate all that we have accomplished in such a short while. Mike, our Deputy Premier and Minister of Public Safety and Emergency Services, mentioned a few of the things that we've been working on, but we have so much more, and we'll do a Q&A at the end so we can get through some of those things. But I've got a few short things to say to you this evening before that. As many of you know, it's been almost a year since we turned the tide, and we reversed what the polls were saying and performed our own little miracle on the prairie together, defeating the NDP in the election and ensuring a second united Conservative majority government. And my dear friends, it's because of you, the people in this very room, that we were victorious. This was the battleground in the last election, and it wasn't easy, was it? Together, we knocked on thousands of doors, raised millions in donations, often $20 at a time, and we reached everyone that we possibly could, all in an effort to show Albertans why voting United Conservative would keep our province on the right track. And I just want you to take a moment to look at this room and look at the people beside you, because I can say with complete confidence that this is a party that has truly come together to support one another, to achieve something greater, and to advocate for the values that we believe in. And let's talk about those values for a moment, because that is at the core of what it means to be Conservative. It's the reason we are all here tonight. It's why we go to AGMs. It's why we show up and put in long volunteer hours at election time. We believe in something better for this province. It is each of you and your dedication that makes this province better every single day. And I want to thank every member in the room tonight for all that you contribute to ensuring that Alberta remains strong and free. Now, I'm incredibly honored to be your leader, and let me be clear that I do take my direction from you, from our members. And this will always be your movement, and it will always be your party. At the last AGM, which was a Canadian record for membership turnout, by the way, you brought forward policies of great importance, and you did that with great care. And I and my colleagues in the legislature, we respect that policy process. And as you can see, our team has no problem walking the walk, and we have already implemented many of your recommendations. Just a few weeks ago, I stood in the crosshairs of the Canadian media and the NDP, choosing to defend children and protect their future choices to have children of their own, as well as to defend the loving parents to be the primary educators and caregivers of their children. As United Conservatives, we must never be afraid to stand up for what we believe is right for Alberta. Now, there are some recent polls showing that our party has grown consistently in the last election and has clear momentum. Now, normally I don't comment on polls because they can go the other way, but you know what? I think that the pollsters might have it right this time. Our government is acting responsibly. We're defending the interests of everyone in this province, regardless of political stripe. And we're taking action. And Albertans are noticing, and they're continuing to move in our direction as a result. I do just want to take a moment to talk about what we've been doing in our major cities in particular. For what seems like decades, for some reason, Conservatives conceded the ground and allowed dangerous left-wing NDP policies to take root in our big cities, in Calgary and in Edmonton. Policies that would eventually poison our streets and lead to more hardships for many. So if you were struggling with mental illness or you were an addict, there just wasn't a lot of hope going around. In the last election, the NDP solution was to double down on their reckless policies, suggesting that government-funded narcotics, heavy-duty opioids, should hit our communities. Now, we've seen how this has been working, or shall I say not working, all down the West Coast. In fact, Oregon just recently took a shift going in the opposite direction. In British Columbia, the RCMP is now warning that government-funded hard drugs are making their way into the hands of organized criminals and poisoning our youth. Now, as you know, the UCP offered a different path this past election. We decided that we would offer hope to our neighbors and our friends, and yes, even our family members who were suffering. We decided to get as many people as possible out of the cycle of addiction and onto a pathway of recovery. And that, my friends, that is the Alberta way. We take care of our own here. Now, doesn't that make you very proud to be Albertan? Because what we discovered, unfortunately, is for years, organized criminals and gangs have been preying on our most vulnerable, and they often take place in tent cities that create pockets of crime and despair in many of our local communities. So our government took action, along with our local police forces, and we're continuing to restore order and provide pathways of support to everyone who needs it. As you may know, we ensured that shelter spaces are available for every single person who needs one, boosted funding to our partner agencies to provide needed services, and opened what we're calling a navigation support center as a pilot project in the heart of Edmonton. And in just a couple of short months, this navigation center, not only have we cleared over 700 encampments in Edmonton, but this navigation center has helped 700 individuals reach over 2,000 different referrals for service in our navigation support center. Now they can go to one place and they can get their ID, they can get financial support, they can get into a treatment program, they can get into a shelter space, the list goes on. And the stories we have heard have been heartwarming and life-changing. I told a story this morning at our recovery conference. We were hosting the 8th annual recovery conference with 2,000 people from all over Canada and around from the world. But at the recovery conference, I talked about one story that Jason Nixon, our Minister of Seniors, Community and Social Services, has told our cabinet about a woman who came in for help and wanted to be connected with her family. She was a First Nations woman, and when they contacted her sister, they hadn't been in touch with her for 10 years. She was on the missing and murdered Indigenous women list. They thought they'd never see her again. And so she got connected with her family and is now back on the road to treatment and recovery. Another story as well. Yeah, I know, it's so amazing. I got to tell one more, and I know I could probably go through all 700 stories, but a man showed up with his dog and needed to stay at the center for 4 days because they actually had beds there for those who need to have an overnight stay. And they got him all fixed up, sent him on his way, got him set up with the services that he needed. He came back a few days later with 4 of his friends. He said, you know what, these guys helped me, they can help you too. And that's the culture that is changing. That's what we're creating in Edmonton. And I can tell you, Calgary will be next. We're working with the Calgary administration to find a navigation center spot that will work here so that we can have those same wonderful success stories in the Calgary community too. Now, the NDP, of course, would want us to stop this compassionate progress, but I believe that our most vulnerable and ensuring that law and order in our communities is not only the balanced thing to do, it is the right thing to do. So our UCP will continue taking additional steps to open more supportive centres that will help more Albertans to get their lives back and to reduce crime on our streets. Now, there's more to do here in Calgary and throughout Alberta. Our government is focused as well on delivering the things that you need. Mike already talked about the Ring Road. I should also add my other favorite transportation project, which is the upgrading of Deerfoot. I mean, you all know that dangerous intersection there on Anderson and Southland. I drive that every day. I cannot wait until that one is done as well. But we also just announced 18 major school projects for the Calgary area. And that means new and modernized learning spaces for our kindergarten to grade 12 students. It also means investing in post-secondaries, including a major investment in the University of Calgary's multidisciplinary hub to increase student capacity by over 1,000 spaces in science and technology, in engineering and math programs. We've got shovels in the ground, and we've got shovels in the ground as we've started our work to support the Calgary Rivers District and Event Centre and revitalize downtown Calgary with new transportation infrastructure, a new community arena, and oh yeah, a much bigger arena too. I know that there's some representatives here from the Flames group tonight, and it was really pushing them to try to get that up and running for the 26-27 season, so maybe you can tell them that you'd like to see that too. Yeah. And I remember, John, what it was. We're hosting the World Juniors, and I'd love to see some of those games being played, not only at Rogers Place, but also at the brand new Event Centre in Calgary. But once complete, the Rivers District is expected to create 1,500 permanent jobs and welcome an estimated 8,000 new residents and 3 million annual visitors to the Cultural and Entertainment District. We also just announced historic funding to the Arts Commons, $103 million for their expansion to transform Calgary's downtown, yeah. And it will be a premium destination to take in the arts. I can tell you Tanya Furr, as our Arts and Culture Minister, feels such passion for the community, and she is a huge, huge advocate for these kinds of investments. And of course, we will continue to demonstrate the power of good economic and energy policies to the world, including to our own Prime Minister. We will show the world how to create a powerhouse economy, packed with jobs and opportunity, focused on a carbon-neutral future so that we can continue to deliver the healthcare and education, public safety, and social programs that Albertans need without mortgaging our future with crushing debt and high taxes. Canada, Alberta included, does not need more punitive carbon taxes, does not need emissions caps, does not need net zero power grids, all of these things proposed by Ottawa. These ideas simply do not work, and they make life more unaffordable and more difficult for everyone. And I can tell you Alberta's not alone in this. A majority of Canadian provinces, 7 out of 10 premiers, and over 70% of Canadians now believe it is time to at least put the brakes on the carbon tax. It is clear that what we need is for Ottawa to get out of the way and allow for the innovators of our major industries, especially in our world-class energy industry, to provide the solutions we need to reduce emissions at an industrial scale and deliver energy security to the entire world. History has shown time and again, yeah, that's worth it, I get it. History has shown time and again that economic growth and technology are the keys to solving global poverty and environmental challenges, not more taxes. It is the eco-extreme agendas of people like Stephen Guilbeault that happens every time I mention his name. But he's proposing policies that limit economic growth, create energy insecurity, raise prices for consumers, and generally make life harder for literally everyone in Canada. These are failed policies, and by hell or high water, as your Premier, I simply will not stop defending this province, our people, or our rights as an equal partner in Confederation. Now, I've said it before, and I will say it again, I would like to see Alberta double our oil and natural gas output. And that is why I've been to places like Texas and Washington, D.C. to promote new partnerships with businesses and alliances with government to get the job done. And with your support, our UCP government will get it done. We do not believe that we need to see a transition away from the production of oil and natural gas. We are having a transition away from emissions. And I hold firm to the knowledge that the world needs more Alberta energy, more Alberta technology, not less of it. and we intend to empower Albertans to deliver it. And hopefully, in the not-so-distant future, we'll have a federal government that understands how to build this nation. How to support each region, how to respect the Constitution, and how to inspire us all to reach our full potential. And until that day comes, we will not give Ottawa an inch, nor will we compromise our Alberta advantage for this generation or the next. You have my word on that. So my friends, in closing, my friends, let's stay humble and kind, but let's never stop fighting for what we believe in. We must continue showing every Albertan that nothing will hold this province back from its true potential. Let's keep this little miracle on the prairie moving. And to my dear United Conservative family here in Calgary this evening, may Alberta be forever strong and free.